Hello, and welcome to Speak Up with Morella on Mental Wellness TV. Today, we will be talking about a deeply important topic for our mental well-being: the importance of emotional resilience, and how we can manage it with practical tools and strategies for greater psychological wellness. Emotional resilience is the ability to adapt to stress, adversity, trauma, or tragedy. It's not about avoiding difficulty or being unaffected by challenges. Rather, it's about how we recover, how we rebuild, and how we protect our mental and emotional integrity in the face of hardship. In our fast-paced and often unpredictable world, emotional resilience is not a luxury. It's a necessity. Without it, even minor disruptions can leave us feeling defeated, anxious, or unable to cope. With it, we gain the inner strength to move through life's storms with clarity and courage. Recent studies show that more than 70% of adults have experienced a traumatic event at some point in their lives, while nearly 1 in 5 people suffer from anxiety disorders globally. These numbers highlight how common emotional challenges are. Yet what separates those who recover and grow from those who remain overwhelmed is often their level of resilience. And here's something truly empowering. Emotional resilience is not fixed. It's a skill that we can learn, strengthen, and embody, regardless of age, background, or current emotional state. Resilience doesn't mean suppressing emotions or pretending everything is fine. Instead, it involves acknowledging our emotional responses, understanding their roots, and working through them with awareness and compassion. It means being honest about how we feel, while also holding space for healing and growth. When we nurture emotional resilience, we don't eliminate suffering. We transform our relationship with it. One of the first steps toward building emotional resilience is self-awareness. When we become more conscious of our emotions, not judging them, but observing them, we begin to recognize the patterns that either help us cope or keep us stuck. Self-awareness gives us the power to choose our responses rather than reacting impulsively or automatically. Mindfulness practices such as meditation, journaling, and breath work can help cultivate this self-awareness. By creating small pockets of stillness in our day, we allow ourselves to pause, reset, and return to our center, even amidst chaos. When we practice mindfulness, we train our brains to respond thoughtfully rather than react emotionally. Emotional regulation is another core element of resilience. This doesn't mean bottling up feelings, but rather learning how to process them constructively. For instance, instead of lashing out in anger or shutting down in sadness, we can learn techniques like grounding exercises, talking to a trusted friend or therapist, or engaging in physical activity to release built-up tension. Developing healthy support systems also plays a vital role. No one is meant to navigate emotional challenges alone. When we have people we can trust, people who can listen without judgment, offer perspective, and simply be present, we are more likely to feel safe and capable during hard times. Support is not weakness. It is one of the strongest foundations of emotional resilience. Equally important is cultivating a growth mindset, the belief that we can learn, adapt, and grow through experience. When we encounter setbacks, it's easy to feel defeated or view them as reflections of our worth. But resilient individuals frame difficulties as opportunities for learning. They ask, "What can this teach me?" rather than, "Why is this happening to me?" This simple shift in perspective can dramatically change the way we experience life. Let's also not underestimate the role of physical well-being in emotional resilience. A tired, malnourished, or overwhelmed body can't support a resilient mind. That's why regular movement, nourishing meals, hydration, and adequate sleep are not just wellness tips. They are essential pillars of emotional strength. When our bodies are cared for, our minds are more stable, focused, and prepared to handle emotional strain. We often forget that resilience develops over time, not in the absence of difficulty, but because of it. Every challenge we've faced and survived has given us emotional muscle. But to benefit from those experiences, we must reflect on them. We must ask, how did I cope? What worked for me? What didn't? This kind of emotional inventory helps us prepare for future difficulties with greater confidence. In our daily lives, there are many small but meaningful steps we can take to strengthen our resilience. For example, setting realistic boundaries can help protect our energy and mental clarity. We don't have to say yes to everything or everyone. Learning to say no and doing so with kindness and self-respect is a powerful act of emotional preservation. Another daily practice is to reframe negative thoughts. We all experience self-doubt or pessimism, especially when life feels heavy. But when we learn to challenge these thoughts, when we pause and ask, is this thought helpful or harmful? We begin to change our internal dialogue. Cognitive behavioral strategies such as thought logs or affirmation exercises can assist in rewiring these automatic patterns. Let's also talk about gratitude, a deceptively simple yet scientifically powerful habit. When we consciously reflect on what is going well, even if it's just one small thing, we shift our focus from lack to abundance. Studies have shown that people who practice gratitude consistently experience lower levels of stress and greater emotional stability. Keeping a daily gratitude journal or even taking 5 minutes each morning to name 3 things we're thankful for can significantly improve our emotional resilience over time. We must also normalize seeking professional help. Therapy or counseling isn't only for moments of crisis. It's a proactive investment in our well-being. A skilled therapist can help us navigate deep emotional wounds, uncover limiting beliefs, and offer tools that are tailored to our unique experiences. Reaching out for help is not a sign of weakness. It's a courageous step toward healing. Research supports the idea that emotional resilience can be cultivated through structured interventions. For instance, a study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that individuals who practiced daily mindfulness for just 8 weeks showed improved emotional regulation and reduced symptoms of depression. Another meta-analysis of resilience training programs found consistent improvement in mental health outcomes, including reduced anxiety, increased self-efficacy, and greater emotional flexibility. One under-discussed aspect of resilience is our relationship with failure. In many cultures, failure is seen as something to avoid or hide. But resilient individuals see failure as data. They ask, what can I learn from this? Rather than, what does this say about me? Teaching ourselves and younger generations to view failure not as an endpoint, but as part of the journey, is critical to building emotional strength. Let's not overlook the impact of social and economic factors on resilience. Not everyone begins at the same starting point. Poverty, discrimination, trauma, and chronic stress create real barriers to emotional well-being. That's why collective resilience as a society must include advocacy for equity, access to mental health resources, and trauma-informed care. Resilience is not just an individual goal. It's a collective responsibility. Creative expression is another essential but often overlooked resilience-building tool. Whether it's writing poetry, painting, dancing, or making music, the act of expressing ourselves creatively helps us process complex emotions that may not yet have words. Neuroscience shows that engaging in the arts activates parts of the brain involved in emotional healing, self-reflection, and connection. Also, let's remember the strength found in spirituality or a sense of purpose. This doesn't have to be religious. For many, resilience is strengthened through a connection to something greater. be it nature, community, art, or a cause they believe in. Having a sense of meaning acts as a psychological anchor in times of stress. Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor and psychiatrist, wrote that those who had a sense of purpose were more likely to survive the concentration camps than those who didn't. That speaks volumes about the human spirit and its capacity for endurance. We also need to talk about intergenerational resilience. The way we model emotional strength to our children and communities influences future generations. When we show vulnerability and healing in real time, we teach others that pain is not shameful and recovery is possible. Building resilient families, workplaces, and social networks means speaking openly about emotional challenges and showing the tools we use to cope. To support our emotional resilience on a daily basis, let's remember to take breaks without guilt, to allow rest as a form of productivity, and to treat emotional maintenance as just as important as physical hygiene. We don't wait for our teeth to decay before we brush them. In the same way, we shouldn't wait for emotional breakdowns to begin taking care of our minds and hearts. And lastly, let's foster a culture in our homes, schools, workplaces, and communities where emotional well-being is not an afterthought, but a priority, where asking for help is seen as brave, where vulnerability is honored, and where each of us is encouraged to grow not only in skills and accomplishments, but in emotional maturity and connection. This concludes today's presentation. We invite you to share with us the topics that concern you most and to participate actively in our program. The themes you suggest will be included in future episodes because your voice matters deeply to us and to this shared journey of growth and healing. Stay with us every day for a new dose of strength, joy, and inner balance. We also warmly invite you to visit our website and explore our curated collections, designed to support every dimension of your mental and emotional wellness. From practical guides and inspirational interviews to specialized resources on trauma, anxiety, self-care, and beyond. Until next time, we invite you to take care of one another, but above all, of yourselves. Be well.